Okay, so I had my drawing and it looks three-dimensional popping off of the page just in the black and white stage of this. But what I did was I went along this and I kind of in a line made where I'm going to have my highlights show up. And a highlight is what is closest to the camera or what is closest to you. And then it'll fall back through shade and go into the shadow, which is going to be the darkest part. So what I'm going to do is I've got this spot right here and I'm going to go around it and I'm doing a very light pencil. Right now I am using Crayola pencils, which Crayola pencils are actually really nice. They're a nice price and they're soft enough that you can go really, really light and really, really dark. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to color all around this in about a mid-tone, which would end up being my shade. The terms that we use are shade, shadow, and highlight. And highlight is where that, where the light hits something and it makes that bright white spot on it. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to trick people into thinking that this is three-dimensional. Now, all my lines are on there. I did get rid of my one vertical line just because it was right down the middle of everything. And I was like, maybe I could erase that without causing too much damage. The problem is when you erase something, you kind of take away a little bit of the picture. So basically, you know, erasers are a little bit scratchy. So they start like destroying the paper. So you don't want to erase too much because then the paper just starts going away. So I've done my mid-tone. Here's my highlight. There's my mid-tone. I'm going to start at the edges and I'm going to start to put my darkest right down in here. Now, if I want to later on, I could take just a little bit darker of a pencil and get in there and get that really, really three-dimensional just by adding just a dark something in there. And I will do that with this one. So it's going to be very, very dark around the edges because those are the furthest away from me, so the light doesn't hit those. So that's called my shadow. So I'm putting in my shadow, which is my edges that are very, very dark. And then what's going to end up happening is I'm going to basically get progressively darker as I make it in between there. So what we would like to see happen is basically go from a white spot to a very, very dark spot. And you notice that I'm kind of moving in sort of archy shapes like that would follow the contours of this. So now I've got a mid-range, I've got my very, very dark, and then I'm going to work all the way to very, very white. And it's possible, it's probable that this white spot is going to be smaller than just that, where it goes down to almost nothing. So if we look at this, I have a white spot here, and then it kind of goes away and goes down into the darkest spots. And then like I usually do all of them first, and then I would go back in and edge it with a dark color. Okay?